Let me start with something that might feel uncomfortable. Most people struggle with faith. They struggle with responsibility. They love God, they pray, they go to church, and they work hard. But when it comes to money, they just survive. Not build, not plan, and not prepare. They just survive. And then one day, they're gone. And their kids inherit memories, but no foundation. So here's the question I want to pose to you today. If God gives us breath, strength, and opportunity, and time, why would he not expect us to build something with it? Because scripture doesn't say a good man leaves vibes. It doesn't say a woman leaves intentions. It says a good man leaves inheritance to his children's children. Not just the children, the grandchildren. That's generational. That's long term. That's legacy. Which means God thinks in decades while most of us think in paychecks. And I want to talk to you about this today, not from a fleshly get rich angle, not from a hustle culture angle, but from a godly stewardship angle. Because wealth, when it's handled correctly, is not greed. It's responsibility. Let me tell you something I've noticed over the years. Good people often avoid money conversations. They think talking about wealth feels worldly. They think planning financially feels selfish. They think wanting more somehow makes them less spiritual. But poverty is not holiness, and struggle is not a virtue. God never said, "Blessed are the broke." He said, "Blessed are the faithful." And faithful includes action. See, the verse doesn't say the inheritance magically appears. It doesn't say that angels drop portfolios from heaven. It says a good person leaves it, which means someone had to work. Someone had to plan. Someone had to sacrifice. Someone had to think past today. Wealth doesn't happen by accident. Legacy happens by accident. Someone in the bloodline has to decide. It changes with me. Here's the part most people miss. The verse doesn't say talk about inheritance. It also says the wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous. Now, don't misunderstand that. That doesn't mean sit on your couch and wait for transfers. It means this. Money eventually flows toward discipline. Resources eventually move toward responsibility. Opportunity finds structure. People who manage well end up managing more. People who steward well are trusted with more. That's not magic. That's principle. God doesn't reward chaos. He rewards stewardship, which brings us to something powerful. God gives us wisdom, knowledge, and joy, those who pleasure in him. And with the wisdom comes the ability to manage righteousness, not just earn them, not just manage them, not just protect them, but multiply them, pass them on, because income without wisdom disappears. But wisdom builds systems. Let me slow this down. A lot of people chase money. Few people build structures. You can make 200 grand a year and still have nothing behind it. You can make 60 grand and create generational impact. The difference isn't income, it's the discipline. Scripture says wealth gained quickly disappears, but wealth gathered little by little by little increases. That means no shortcuts, no lottery mentality, no overnight fantasies, just consistencies, little by little by little, month by month, and year by year. Poverty by poverty, skill by skill, decision by decision. That's how real wealth is built, not in moments and seasons. Let me make this personal. Most parents say they do anything for their kids. They'd fight for them, they'd die for them, they'd sacrifice for them, but they won't budget for them. They won't invest for them. They won't learn finances for them. They won't delay gratification for them. They work overtime, but not build assets. They'll stress about bills, but not study the ownership. They'll pray for blessings, but ignore the planning. That's not love. That's a survival mode. The survival mode doesn't produce inheritance. Legacy requires intention. Now, here's something important. Inheritance isn't just money. It's a mindset. It's habits. It's example. You're not just leaving dollars. You're leaving instruction. Your kids don't just inherit what's in your bank account. They inherit how you think. They inherit how you handle pressure. They inherit how you talk about money. They inherit how you respond to setbacks, so that all they ever saw was struggle. They normalize struggle. If all they ever was paycheck to paycheck, they'll repeat paycheck to paycheck. But if they see discipline and they see investing, if they see patience, if they see ownership, you just gave them a blueprint. That's wealth. Let me ask you something straight. What are your children learning by watching you right now? Are they learning faith and responsibility? Or are they just faith and hope? Because hope without structure leaves people vulnerable. God gives opportunity, but humans are responsible for the preparation. No farmer prays harvest and refuses to plant. No builder prays for houses and refuses to lay foundations. And no parent should pray for their children's future without refusing to prepare for it. Here's the emotional core, that whole conversation. If you love your children, you don't just raise them. You position them. You don't just feed them. You prepare them. You don't just protect them. You provide pathways. That's what inheritance really is. Not spoiling, not entitlement, preparation. And let's talk about something people avoid. Money doesn't corrupt. It reveals. If someone is selfish with $20, they'll be selfish with 2 million. If someone is generous with a little, they'll be generous with much. Wealth just amplifies you who already are, which means godly people should have resources, because when righteous people have money, churches get built, families get stabilized, communities get support, kids go to school, debts are paid, opportunities get created. But when ungodly people control wealth, you already see what happens. So no wealth is no the enemy. Its character is. Let me say this carefully. Your job is not make your kids rich. Your job is to make them capable. Your job is to teach them stewardship. Your job is to show them how to build, not just consume. That's why Scripture talks about grandchildren, because God is thinking in systems. He's thinking beyond your lifetime. He's thinking generational momentum. And somebody has to be first. Somebody has to say, I'm the one who breaks the cycle. Maybe nobody taught you this. Maybe you grew up with nothing. Maybe you were handed struggle. That doesn't disqualify you. That positions you. Every legacy starts with one person who decides differently. One person who learns. One person who plans. One person who delays gratification. And one person who stops making excuses. That's how bloodlines change. Not with miracles, with decisions. Let me land this. Being godly doesn't mean avoiding wealth. It means stewardship. It means building slowly. It means living below your means. It means investing instead of impressing. It means buying assets and not just the toys. It means teaching your kids. It means writing things down. It means thinking long term. It means realizing your responsibility doesn't end with you, because one day you won't be here, but your choices will be. And the discipline will be. Your preparation will be, or you lack of it will be. And your children will live inside the consequences. So here's the question I leave with you. What are you building with outlives you? Not just spiritually, practically, financially, or structurally. Because a good person leaves an inheritance, not accidentally, intentionally, little by little, with vision, with patience, with faith in action. If this hits home, don't just feel inspired. Get organized. Learn. Start small. Write goals. Build systems. And most importantly, be the one your future sees. Be the one your kids see. If you guys found value in this video, leave a like. Share this with your friends, your family, and your kids, and have a wonderful day. Bye now.